Have you ever considered something that feels almost like a contradiction? Most people talk too much about their dreams, and that's often exactly why they never come true. So what if silence is the only thing standing between you and everything you've ever longed for? We grow up being told, speak your goals, share your dreams, tell the world who you are. But there's a deeper truth that few ever realize. Silence, when embraced at the right time and place, isn't avoidance. It's a doorway. A single moment of stillness can connect you to the universe more powerfully than 1,000 spoken prayers. This video isn't meant to be watched in a rush. It's not something to post, perform, or explain. It's a personal experience, a whisper from the universe, arriving at the perfect time for the person ready to receive it. When you watch in silence, your heart opens, and the universe hears you more clearly than ever before. Change doesn't come someday. It begins the moment you step into this stillness. If this is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay updated with our latest videos on spiritual topics, inner awakening, and philosophical insights. A young seeker once approached his teacher, his heart quietly weighed down by confusion. "Master," he asked, "why does it seem that some people receive every opportunity with ease, while others struggle endlessly no matter how hard they try?" The old teacher, eyes softened by wisdom and hands weathered by years of transcribing eternal truths, offered no immediate answer. Instead, he gestured for the student to follow him. They walked in silence to a tall, ancient stone wall that surrounded a garden hidden from the outside world. The gate was firmly shut, imposing and seemingly impenetrable. The teacher pointed to a humble vine crawling along the base. "Most people knock," he said, "but those who observe closely, who sense rather than demand, find the hidden latch, tucked behind these leaves. It does not open through force. It opens through awareness." And always in silence. That moment would echo in the student's life for years to come. He realized the teacher wasn't simply speaking about a garden, but about life itself. The gate represented the seemingly closed doors of opportunity, the obstacles that others tried to break down with noise, force, or relentless effort. But the vine and the hidden latch, they were metaphors for something deeper: inner stillness, perceptiveness, and alignment with the subtle rhythms of the universe. The lesson was clear. Life doesn't open up to the loudest voice or the busiest hands. It yields its treasures to those who quiet their minds and listen, to those who have the courage to turn inward when the world urges them to fight outward. In time, the student began to live differently. He stopped chasing applause. He stopped shouting for recognition. He began to notice things others missed: the quiet invitations, the soft nudges, the intuitive whispers. As he tuned into this deeper awareness, the latches of life began to reveal themselves. Unexpected opportunities, chance meetings, doors opening not because he forced them, but because he aligned himself with the flow. It wasn't magic. It was mastery of self, of perception, of energy. And so the garden became a living parable, a place not entered by force, but discovered through presence. The student understood finally that the world doesn't respond to desperation or volume. It responds to resonance. When your inner state is aligned, the external world rearranges itself to match. The path forward, he learned, is not one of struggle, but of stillness, not of noise, but of knowing. And that makes all the difference. As the metaphor gives way to reality, a deeper truth begins to crystallize. There is an extraordinary magnetic power in silent intention, a force we often overlook in our rush to be seen, acknowledged, or validated. We live in a world obsessed with visibility, where every goal must be announced, Every dream must be shared, and every achievement must be broadcast for approval. But the most profound acts of creation? They rarely happen in the spotlight. They unfold in the quiet. What we see on the surface, the success, the breakthrough, the synchronicities, are simply the final echoes of an energy that has already been sculpted, nurtured, and refined in the unseen. It is not the noise that builds worlds. It is the silence beneath it. Across centuries and cultures, ancient mystics, spiritual sages, and even modern scientists have arrived at the same understanding from vastly different starting points. Energy, focused in stillness, holds more potency than energy scattered through conversation or external validation. Think of it like water under pressure. When concentrated, it can carve stone. When diffused, it's a passing mist. Every vision, every breakthrough begins the same way, as a fragile, luminous seed inside the soul. It doesn't need fanfare. It needs protection. It needs attention without interruption, devotion without performance. When that seed is prematurely exposed, spoken aloud to those whose frequency doesn't resonate or whose own wounds filter your vision through doubt, it becomes energetically compromised. What once held momentum begins to falter. The vibration shifts, the clarity bends. But here's what most people don't realize. Silence is not secrecy out of fear. It's sacred containment. It's a form of reverence for the creative process itself. Like guarding the flame of a candle from the wind, silence shelters your growing intention from forces that would extinguish it before it catches light. It's not about hiding from the world. It's about holding space long enough for your desire to solidify into form. And yes, science backs this up. Neuroscience tells us that the brain cannot fully distinguish between speaking about a goal and achieving it. When you share a dream prematurely, your brain releases dopamine, the very chemical that usually follows accomplishment. You feel good, as if you've already arrived, even when you haven't moved a step forward. That rush is seductive, but deceptive. Because what follows is often stagnation. The urgency fades, the hunger dulls, the clarity dissolves into abstraction. What could have become a powerful reality becomes nothing more than mental vapor. This is why those who understand manifestation at a deep level rarely speak too soon. They don't explain. They don't ask for approval. They build quietly, with precision and patience. Their confidence isn't in how many people know what they're doing. It's in how deeply they know it themselves. To hold a vision in silence is to engage the universe in a private dialogue. Each thought, each emotional pulse, each act of inner alignment sends out a frequency that ripples into the very fabric of reality. Reality listens. But when you allow doubt, distraction, or external opinions to penetrate that signal, like static on a radio, it distorts the message, it delays the delivery. So the wisest creators, the subtle architects of extraordinary lives, don't rush. They know energy must mature before it can materialize. They nurture it the way a mother cradles a child in the womb, not hidden in shame, but held in honor. If you want your intentions to take root in the world, protect them like sacred fire. Speak only when the foundation is strong. Act only when the pull is undeniable. And let your power gather in silence until the world has no choice but to feel its presence. Because in a universe governed not by noise but by vibration, the quietest energy, when aligned, is often the most irresistible. True progress is often invisible at first, but it's never wasted. Quiet progress builds something far more powerful than loud declarations or empty affirmations, a frequency of unwavering consistency. While the world rushes to proclaim every next move, those who build in stillness are tuning into a rhythm the universe can't help but respond to. In this stillness, every small, deliberate act becomes sacred, whether it's 5 minutes of visualization, a subtle shift in mindset, or a personal discipline honored in private. These choices may seem insignificant on their own, but they are energy in motion. And energy, when focused and undisturbed, compounds. What begins as intention becomes alignment. What begins as repetition becomes embodiment. And all of this happens without applause. You don't need to announce your every effort to the world. In fact, you shouldn't. Because consistency has a resonance, and that resonance speaks louder to the universe than any words ever could. In silence, your energy is protected. Your vision remains pure. You stop being swayed by trends or trapped by the need for validation. You become sovereign over your vibration, immune to noise, immovable in purpose. As Lao Tzu wrote, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." Wisdom doesn't perform, it embodies. It whispers through action. It echoes through presence. The moment your actions begin to speak before your words ever do, the world begins to take notice. But more importantly, the universe begins to respond. The doors that once seemed sealed by invisible resistance begin to unlock, not because you forced them, but because you finally matched their frequency. You aligned, and alignment is the real key. But let's go deeper, because external silence is only half the equation. To move in quiet confidence outwardly, your inner world must also be in harmony. Beneath the silence, your mind must be tuned to worthiness, clarity, and deep belief. If it's not, no amount of silence will save you from the quiet sabotage of your subconscious. And this is where most people fall short, not in their effort, but in their programming. From a young age, we absorb beliefs that become silent scripts in our minds. Success is rare. I don't deserve more. Life is a constant struggle. These ideas don't scream, they whisper in the background, coloring every choice, every reaction, every result. They become the invisible architecture of our reality. The subconscious is not a passive container. It is the soil in which all your intentions are planted. And if the soil is dry with fear, choked with doubt, or tainted by limitation, even the most vibrant, heart-fueled dreams will struggle to grow. The dream is not the problem. The environment it's planted in is. This is why inner work is not optional. It's essential. If you want different outcomes, you have to cultivate a different internal climate. You must become someone who not only hopes for more, but genuinely believes they're worthy of receiving it. You must weed out the subconscious roots of lack and replace them with the steady rhythm of abundance, trust, and possibility. That means affirmations with conviction, visualization with emotion, stillness with presence, discipline with devotion. These aren't just tools, they're frequencies. And when practiced with intention, they begin to rewire your internal landscape into fertile ground. Suddenly, your silence becomes a roar, not the kind the world can hear, but the kind the universe cannot ignore. Because when your inner alignment matches your outer consistency, the energy you radiate becomes undeniable. Opportunities find you. Synchronicities unfold. People respond to a version of you that feels centered, confident, and clear, even if they can't quite explain why. They just feel it. That's the magic of silent mastery. It's not about being invisible. It's about being undeniable without needing to shout. The path to lasting success isn't paved with noise. It's carved through quiet, intentional, inner-aligned movement. And in that stillness, the world begins to move with you. Transformation doesn't begin with noise, it begins with a whisper. And that whisper, repeated with emotion, becomes a vibration, a frequency, a force. Repetition, visualization, and language become your tools, not just habits, but gateways to reprogramming the mind. You've likely heard affirmations before. Abundance flows to me effortlessly. I am worthy of extraordinary outcomes. On the surface, they sound simple. But don't mistake simplicity for weakness. These phrases, when spoken with true emotional resonance, begin to overwrite the old scripts running your subconscious. Scripts inherited from childhood, culture, or experience that quietly say the opposite. I don't have enough. I'm not good enough. I have to struggle to succeed. The key isn't just saying the words, it's feeling them. Words without belief are like arrows without a bow, aimless, weightless, ineffective. The subconscious mind doesn't respond to logic. It responds to emotion, to energy, to vibration. This is why when you pair intention with belief and cradle them both in quiet consistency, you begin to change, not just mentally but energetically. Something shifts within. Your vibration rises, your perception widens. And suddenly, opportunities that once felt distant or invisible begin to reveal themselves. They were always there, but now you're tuned to the frequency where they exist. It's like adjusting a radio dial. The station was always broadcasting, but you couldn't hear it until you aligned. Life is no different, and here's the beauty of it. When your inner world shifts and you don't announce it outwardly, you remove resistance. You don't invite questions, projections, or skepticism from others. You stay rooted in your energy. You move like the wind, invisible but undeniable, shaping outcomes, guiding circumstances, influencing the external without ever needing to be loud. This is not avoidance, it's mastery. True transformation is subtle. It doesn't shout to be seen. It glows from within. It doesn't demand validation. It creates results. And when your frequency is consistent, quiet, and aligned, the world around you begins to reorganize itself in response. That's not magic. It's resonance, and it's in this state that you enter what many call flow. The synchronicities multiply. The right time becomes now. The right people appear effortlessly. Doors you never saw suddenly open. Not because you forced them, but because you finally stopped standing in your own way. You're no longer chasing a future or resisting the present. You're in partnership with the moment. Psychologist Carl Jung called this phenomenon meaningful coincidence. When internal transformation aligns with external events in seemingly magical ways. But it's not magic. It's the science of frequency, the language of alignment, the art of inner work, bearing fruit in the outer world. And the best part, you don't need to scream your new identity. You don't need to convince anyone that you've changed. You simply become the version of you who already holds the reality you desire. The rest follows, because transformation doesn't look like fireworks. It looks like discipline. It sounds like stillness. It feels like knowing, deep, quiet, unshakable knowing. And from that place, the world begins to shift. Not because you demanded it to change, but because you did. So repeat the words, but mean them. Visualize the future, but live the feeling now. Hold the belief, but hold it softly with grace. Then let life meet you where you've risen. Desperation, anxiety, and impatience, these are the energies that cloud your field, distort your signal, and push away the very things you long for. But once these are replaced by trust and calm engagement, something magical happens. Life no longer feels like a battlefield where every step is a struggle. Instead, it begins to feel like a conversation, a living dialogue with an intelligent, responsive universe. In this elevated state, your desires begin to approach you, not because you chase them with relentless effort, but because you've finally matched their rhythm. You've tuned your frequency to the outcome rather than the lack of it. Paradoxically, the less you grasp at what you want, the faster it flows toward you. Why? Because wanting with tension signals absence. It sends out the energy of, I don't have, which the universe simply echoes back. But when you act with faith, when you move from a place of quiet inner certainty, unattached to how or when, the outcome will arrive. You are broadcasting a message of abundance already in motion, and abundance attracts more of itself. Think of the farmer. He doesn't yank on a sprout to make it grow faster. That would destroy the very thing he wants to nurture. He doesn't sit in worry, checking the soil every hour. Instead, he waters the seed, trusts the process, and lets the sun and earth do what they do best. His faith in nature's intelligence is unshaken. You are no different. Your role is not to force the manifestation. Your role is to plant, align, and trust, to tend to your energy, to water your vision with belief, and to stay present. The moment you stop obsessively checking the door, the universe walks right through it, and there's a powerful force that can help keep that door wide open. Gratitude. Gratitude is more than politeness. It is more than a mood. It's a magnetic frequency, a quiet, potent declaration that says, I already have enough. I already am enough. And from that space of sufficiency, the universe sends more of what matches your energetic signature. Where frustration screams, something is missing, gratitude whispers, everything is unfolding. And what you whisper matters. Every time you thank life for what you already hold, you are affirming a story of fullness. A story where good things are not exceptions. They are the norm. That's the story the universe responds to. It's not about ignoring the gaps in your life. It's about focusing your energy on the bridges. It's about feeding the frequency that feeds your future. Now imagine pairing gratitude with intention. Each night before sleep, you take a moment to visualize the life you're creating, not with desperation, but with delight. You repeat affirmations that align with the version of you who already has what you desire. You picture scenes as if they've already happened. Feel the emotions as if you're already living them. This is not fantasy. It is blueprinting. You are programming your subconscious to expect blessings. Over time, this becomes second nature. You wake up and move through your day as though the outcome is already on its way. And it is. Because emotion is the invitation, belief is the bridge, and gratitude is the signal flare. And here's the beautiful twist. You begin to live from fulfillment before fulfillment arrives. And because your inner world is already saturated with the feeling of having, your outer world simply mirrors what's already true within. This is the art of relaxed manifestation, not forcing, not begging, just flowing. The energy of trust opens every door. The practice of gratitude keeps them open, and the emotional certainty of already having draws reality closer with every breath. So breathe in faith, breathe out resistance, and let the life you desire come find you. Only in quiet waters do things mirror themselves undistorted. Only in a quiet mind is adequate perception of the world. Hans Magolius's quote further reinforces the ideas we've explored together in this video. Which concept resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. If this video opened your mind or helped you see reality in a new light, don't forget to like and subscribe to Top Hidden Knowledge so you never miss our next deep dive into mystery, perception, and the hidden workings of our universe. And if you have time, explore more videos on our channel. We're just getting started. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and never stop questioning the world around you.